Hello, friends, and welcome to Binge O'Clock, the podcast where we watch something and then we talk about it. I'm Joy Selden, and I've seen almost everything.
I'm Danielle Nga, and I've seen almost nothing.
Hi, I'm Jill Friedman, and I've seen horrors beyond man's measure.
Did you see them towards the end of June? And was it because you didn't have any Summerween spirit?
I can neither confirm nor deny. I have been invited to so many Summerween parties, and I have managed to attend, like, none of them.
Oh, no!
It's very frustrating. I think I went to one, but I had to leave kind of early. I forget what happened.
Mm-hmm. I now know what Summerween is.
Yes.
Officially.
So my
I think we possibly have even been invited to some of the same Summerween parties.
Probably.
It's entirely possible. My 40th birthday party was a Summerween party. And it was Disney themed.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Because it was easy.
I attended and it was celebration.
That gets you from, Golden Age of Animation all the way through to like a Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, that was the
and
ideal.
this is what I told people. I was like, look, you don't have to come as one of like the big five. Mm-hmm. Like, don't worry about it. I did go as Donald.
Which is amazing.
Because I'm on a Donald kick, and I was very pleased with my like weirdly Disney bounding Donald costume. But people had an option to come as any of the Avengers, as anybody from Star Wars. My sister and her husband actually came as like Mando and
nice.
And Grogu, which was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It was any and all affiliates, etc.
And
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Reminder that Loki and Gonzo are both Disney princesses.
They are.
A friendly PSA.
Just your daily reminder. You should just put that on Tumblr every day.
Exactly. Daily reminder.
I feel like I know people who would want to be reminded of that every day.
Like a post-it on your office desk style situation.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Like a you crack open a fortune cookie and it's like reminder and you're like, oh, thank you.
That's right.
I did need that reminder today.
Gonzo is a Disney princess. I forgot. How did I forget?
And then you forgot. Sorry, throwing in Doctor Who references because that's who I am.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway, hi, friends. You're here.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Binge O'Clock Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Gravity Falls Season 1, Episodes 10, 11, and 12. We get into a little bit of the weeds here, a little bit of the additional mystery surrounding the Mystery Shack, although we don't get very much.
No. I think these episodes felt pretty light on the overall narrative.
I concur.
Not necessarily in a bad way.
No. I think there's a lot of, how many episodes are we going to have of Dipper just being moonstruck over Wendy?
It's funny that you say that because I was thinking about how somehow on this rewatch, the pacing feels a lot less awful. I don't know. Like, or at least episodes like Fight Fighters where Robbie somehow actually thinks Dipper is a competition.
Yeah.
The problem it makes the problem bigger than just Dipper, and it makes it more narratively interesting if Dipper and Wendy genuinely are friends, which they demonstrably are, to the point where Wendy's same age, if not slightly older boyfriend is threatened by it. Like that's at least narratively interesting to me.
So wait, when you say less terrible, do you mean your first time watching it, you also felt like it was stuck into Dipper Loves Wendy for a long time? Or what was your impression the first time through?
I genuinely don't remember because my viewing experience was so broken up.
Yeah, fair.
And then by the time like I got into the fandom and into the show itself, like the conclusion had already occurred in the narrative.
Yeah, I think it's hard to look at it from a binging standpoint.
Yes.
Honestly. Because it's like the middle episode is the only episode where we don't get love-starved Dipper. So we got 2 out of 3.
Yep.
2 out of 3 for this collection. And I was just like, oh wow, yeah. I always forget. I always skip to the end, and then I always forget how many episodes it happens in. So like, it was always going to have, like, I don't remember Summerween, the B plot being, oh right, Dipper wants to go to this party and wants to ditch Mabel.
Right.
I don't remember that every single time I turned it on to watch it, because I just remember Summerween being really great, because I am Grunkle Stan in this episode, where this is like the only thing he likes about this town.
Yeah.
Scaring children.
Scaring children and
Yes.
and doing weird stuff to the shack and like getting a bunch of candy, and like I completely forget that it's like, oh right, Dipper's gonna be this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's honestly, I think the problem is me. I think it's my own fault every time, because I completely forget. It just it sieves out of my brain somehow.
I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily label that a problem, because like, listen, I don't disagree with what you said earlier, Jill, which is that I think the show does at least give the crush itself a little bit of depth and makes it more than just like a schoolboy crush or whatever, or puppy love or whatever you would call that, because there is something real to their relationship or their friendship or whatever you would like to call it. And
Yeah.
is the crush my favorite part of any one of these episodes? No. Right? So if I were to remember one single thing from each of these episodes, I think it would be unlikely to be the fact that Dipper is yet again in love with Wendy. Except I guess in Fight Fighters, which is just explicitly about that.
Yeah.
It's about that, but it's about that that I felt like, in a way, certainly on this rewatch,
Mm-hmm.
to your point, giving it the weight, giving it the credence that it might not have had previously.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see very much that not only like are they friends, but other people observe how tight they are already.
Yeah, true. And we see some of the cracks starting to form in Robbie and Wendy's relationship.
I mean, he's just a jerk.
He is kind of a jerk. What does she see in him
wait,
anyway?
I wrote something down. Ugh, Robbie already doesn't listen.
Yes.
I actually wrote ugh.
So early on in their relationship. I'm like, come on, man.
My first note was, I mean, sure, Robbie sucks because he doesn't listen to Wendy, but let's not forget the part where he challenges a 12-year-old to a fight.
A 12-year-old who's like a third of his size.
I also figured he did that because Dipper actually broke his cell phone. Like, my brain didn't go, he's not challenging him for Wendy's honor.
No.
He's challenging him because Dipper was a dumb and desperately tried to get a cell phone out of a teenager's hand. And the two of them fumbled so hard. I was like, oh, yeah, no, Robbie is being let's call Wendy and see what she thinks. And so Dipper is like, no, don't do that. And literally knocks a cell phone out of a teenager's hand. It shatters.
Yep.
And he's like, you're dead, dude. And I was like, yeah, makes sense. Because Robbie's that kind of idiot. I also love that Robbie actually isn't that much of a fighter. And when it actually comes, I'm skipping to the end of the episode, of course. But when it actually comes down to it, he's just like, you're not even worth it.
I don't want to risk hurting my hands. Like, okay, bro.
Sure, Jan.
Is there anything redeeming about this character?
Robbie?
Yeah.
Does
it come up at all? I know we said that he's not.
So he improves, but he never redeems himself. I'll say that.
He's not a Zuko.
Not a Zuko.
No.
But he
Not a
becomes
Lars.
less awful. He becomes less awful, but still remains like a tertiary character who kind of doesn't particularly matter.
Okay.
Yeah, he sort of just remains kind of a dirtbag.
He's just a teenage dirtbag, baby. Sorry. I couldn't
Smooth.
resist.
I do love that we get this, like, in the video game Tron, sort of like reverse Tron episode.
I loved the video game aspects of this episode.
The animation
Yes.
is so good.
I literally have that note. The animation in this is so good.
Oh, yeah.
The animation in this particular, and like this animation style for Gravity Falls that, you'll probably see into like the 2010s and then the early 2020s. I wasn't a huge fan of it initially, and I don't know why that is. Like, I just don't.
The Cal Arts style, finger quotes implied.
Giant finger quotes. It's so funny because it's like, look, Brave Little Toaster is one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also staring at these characters like, I don't know. I feel like everybody kind of looks like Garfield.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cartoony.
That isn't to say, it's very cartoony, and that isn't to say it's bad. But I never thought any of the quote unquote standard animation style for the show was anything to write home about in particular. And then they did this episode, and I was like, oh, hang on a second.
Oh, hang on. They have some talented animators, which isn't to say, like you were saying, that anything prior to this was terrible. It was just, this was just in such stark contrast.
It's the difference between like, wow, that looks kind of cool too. That might be genius. I feel like genius is the word I'm looking for.
I just really love how they really put their whole foot into like the backgrounds and the setting and the prop design and all that.
Yes.
And then they all just sort of look like Garfield heads.
And then they all just sort of look like Garfield heads, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. Love Garfield too. But I'm also sitting here like, it's nothing to write home about. I mean, it's cute. It's very, and then you have a 2-dimensional Street Fighter knockoff that I can't,
is somehow in.
He can't stand still.
He can't stand still. He's
blurry.
He's blurry. He's always in the foreground somehow.
His lip syncing is awful.
Oh, so bad.
I'm always charmed by this episode because again, usually much like The Simpsons, which obviously we've talked about a lot as being a very highly influenced piece of media for this show. Much like The Simpsons, I don't remember half the episode. I remember pieces of the episode. And like the piece I remember from here is being like super into Rumble and everything about him.
Did he kill your father?
Did he kill your father? And then he killed your father. This small boy has lied to me.
Okay, wait. Favorite Rumble moments.
Can you even choose?
I think it's equipping the taco. It's got to be equipping the taco.
I was going to say taco too. Taco's definitely my favorite.
Equipping the taco is pretty good.
Put it on the ground.
I don't know if it's like a quote around him.
Yeah.
Which is when he's like playing with the lead pipe and then he gets the sword.
That was my second
favorite. And Dipper is like, there's some really dangerous litter.
I mean, the quote around it is so good, but then going back to the animation, I loved the animation in that scene because Rumble, drawn blurry 2D Rumble, holding the in-show pipe and the in-show sword, fantastic. Brilliantly done.
I mean, and also the classic punch, punch, punch.
Forward, back.
Forward, back.
Yeah. In my notes, I have, I do like things that are ultimate. It's such a Simpsons tier joke.
I do like things that are ultimate. Bless.
And you know what? He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I like the character development we get for Dipper. Again, I think the show suffers a little bit from the bingeability in which like the binge watch o'clockness of us actually watching it like this. Because I all I can think of is like, didn't we already answer this?
Like which parts
of like Dipper's manliness versus Wimp?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I feel like we're learning the same lesson, but again, I think it just
Can you tell me what 12-year-old boy learns less the first time?
True.
I mean, fair.
He needed to hear it over and over again.
Just toss that out there.
I mean, I guess he had to learn the lesson of not lying to a very powerful being who could knock him out in one punch.
He definitely had to learn that lesson. He also had to learn how to be passively aggressive, I guess.
That feels like a reach, but I'll take it.
Well, how to hate someone secretly, as the show says.
Yes, like girls do.
I don't love that, but, you know, it is what it is.
That's one of those lines where you're like, I don't like that, but it's not wrong.
I don't like that, but I am also the first person to be like, I mean, I don't know any girl in the last, I don't know, over the age of like 18 or 19, definitely, whose first instinct would be to punch someone out. Like, or raised as a girl, or literally, like, my brain is just like, no, I can't see it.
Right. Or, you know, a girl who doesn't know how to harbor a secret hatred for someone. Like.
Which again,
I keep all of my hatreds like, very, very exterior. If I hate you, you know it.
My hatred is very specific. It's like, I like everybody until you do something that I hate. And then I will salt the earth upon which you walk. But my default is usually I like everybody, which I'm honestly working on changing because that's exhausting.
Yeah, I hear you.
Who has time? Who has time to like everybody? Absolutely not.
Who has time? I'm here to recommend feeling like most of the world is just there.
It is value neutral. It's just there.
There.
Have we ever discussed what alignment you would be, Danielle? I feel like we never actually talked about it.
I don't think
what
we've been able
makes Danielle
to
turn neutral? No.
I think it's like chaotic neutral or something.
I don't know.
I think it depends on the scenario, actually.
It 100% depends.
As with most of those things. No one is one thing all the time.
It was it was really wild. Like when I moved to Austin, it was the first time that I was in an entirely new situation with like people who didn't know me before or new people I knew or whatever.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And much to my surprise, everyone thought that I was just the nicest person on the history of the planet. And like that I just never got angry and that and I was like, who?
Me? You're like looking behind you? Like this
and
woman?
I'm thinking to myself, I am reading everybody for filth in my mind. I guess I'm used to having a friend I can whisper it to and I just don't hear. So it never gets vocalized.
I guess just never actually leaves my face.
Right.
But it's there. It's just not spoken.
Exactly. And I found this out when I forget who it was or what happened, but someone crossed me. They were off the list. And I was like big mad about it. And I guess I told someone off. I don't remember. But someone was like, yeah, I knew she messed up because Jill was angry. And I was like,
hold on.
I'm the metric?
Yeah, that's been happening to me a lot more recently. As I've been slowly allowing my anger at certain people to show.
Exactly.
In common conversations. Although I did have an interesting like moment with a friend of just like, I've never seen Joy angry. And this was just like last October.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
You don't.
I guess I've never hated anyone in your presence. Because when I hate somebody, you know I hate them. It is not subtle. I don't do half measures on the hate. But then again, I don't do half measures on the people I like either. So like I no middle sliders. I am extremes. That's just it.
And in that way, you are very much like Rumble.
Yes.
Now you know why he's my favorite character in this whole episode. I mean, he's well, okay. I actually also really like the B plot of this episode. I was gonna say we should probably talk about the next episode. But I do really like the B plot because Mabel finds out that Grunkle Stan is afraid of heights. And it's my favorite thing because he's not even subtle about it. It's just like he's fumbling for something up top somewhere. He's like, I don't fear anything. And she's like, wait, why didn't I just get the ladder? And he's like, we don't have a ladder. And I'm like, what?
Do you know how many people injure themselves? More than houses with guns. That's why I have 7 guns.
You have a mystery shack that's like 3 stories high.
Yeah.
You have a patio on your roof.
But that's not for him. Only Wendy and the kids
it's
go
not for
up there.
him.
You know? Like that's
That's
why
true.
that's the secret hangout patio. Or now we know.
I know.
Because Grunkle Stan cannot visit the secret hangout patio.
Absolutely not. And Mabel, of course, just wants to cure him of his fear of heights.
Well, see, speaking of
Also,
alignment,
as
I
you
feel
do.
like she's chaotic good.
Oh, absolutely.
She is chaotic.
No question.
100%.
Yeah, no. More importantly, Stan has a handyman who he can send up on ladders.
Oh, yes.
Also true.
That's true. Seuss is on
Very
many a
true.
ladder.
God, I love Seuss.
Me too.
I also love Seuss in this episode as well, with his trying to crawl into a video game. And then, wait, is it this episode where he shows up in a van
Yes.
and he's just like
Yes. I
an
thought about
apathetic
you.
side character or something?
Yes, I thought about you when that happened because of the thing you said last time about, like, does Seuss just live in another plane of reality where he sees everything all at once and so he knows where to be? Because this was a great example of that.
Yeah. Seuss exists outside of time. He's a time lord.
He lives in hammer space.
He lives in hammer space. I love that he was playing a Tron knockoff game.
Nort.
Nort. Loved it to pieces. I can't believe they got away with that. But then again, I was like, wait a minute, it's Disney. You probably could have just
who
said
owns
Tron.
They could have just said Tron.
You probably could have just said Tron or Light Cycles or whatever.
I mean-
Which, by the way, anyone who lives in the New York area, I'm sure it's at other places also, but there's a barcade in the city that actually has the Light Cycle video game, and Nella plays it every single time we go there.
I am only very mildly disappointed because I thought you were about to say that they have a Nort machine. And I was like, that would
They
be so
essentially do.
good.
They kind of do. Yeah, no, that would have been hilarious.
I'm so mad. There's a really good arcade near me that's like one of these like Dave and Buster knockoffs,
Sure.
but like better. Mm-hmm. And they're run by extreme right wingers who held maskless election night party in 2020.
Of course it is.
And you're like, this could
So
have
we
been.
don't go there anymore.
This could have been a fun zone. This could have been a fun place to be.
This could have been a zone of fun.
And
Could have been a
instead,
zone of
You
fun.
made it a zone of hate.
You've ruined it.
Ruined it.
Ruined it.
Yeah, and that's what Rumble McSkirmish would say. He would say, you have turned this zone of fun into a zone of hate.
yes, he would. And then he would blow it up with his special moves, which I love his special moves.
Show me your moves.
They're raining fists.
The raining fists. Oh my god. I love everything about him.
Yeah.
I love Rumble to pieces. So next we have Little Dipper.
Little Dipper.
Little Dipper.
Ah, it's the Gideon episode.
It is. It's the Gideon episode. You wanted to know if Gideon would be back? Well,
Here he is.
Here he is. I love how this episode opens.
My note for the opening is LMAO is that legal eagle. Because it really does look like it.
It does kind of look like Legal Eel, actually. It does, just a little bit. It looks like a Simpsons version of Legal Eagle.
Exactly.
I don't mean Simpsons. I mean Garfield. Looks like a Garfield version of Little Eagle.
I kind of want to see him make that as his like profile pic for a while. It's something. I don't know.
If only. Suggest it. Just tag him and be like, "Hey, this you?
Exactly.
This you, bud?
I kind of love
Is
that.
it?
If I was still actively using Twitter, I would do that.
Maybe we'll do it. Maybe the official BachPod Twitter will do it.
There we go.
We'll see.
There
We'll
we
see
go.
if that happens.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
I make no promises. But yeah, no, I love how this opens because of the Publishers Clearinghouse. And then, of course, I love the end joke about it. Like,
We're not coming to this town anymore.
we're not coming to this town.
Take the town off the list. I love that
Bless.
Grunkle Stan isn't so easily tricked. Good character note for Grunkle Stan.
Oh, Grunkle Stan is the best.
He's a hack, he's a con man, it goes both ways.
I keep thinking about although he did get taken in by that video game machine, which I thought was very funny.
He did, but he also
Once.
respected it. He respected it. He saw what it did. He appreciated the joke, and like got mad. It was like, oh,
Ooh, you
wish I
got
thought
me.
of that.
Well, like a OU.
Yeah,
You think that finger was an OU?
yeah. It was definitely I wish I had thought of that at least kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I love that you win. And he looked so excited and then
He looked
so
so
let down when it was
happy.
like,
He
put
does
in
love
another
winning.
quarter.
He
love
does because he
winning.
never gets to.
He always wants to win money. He always wants the money. But yes, so Lil Gideon is trying to get his hands on the Mystery Shack. But meanwhile, Zeus has noticed that Mabel is a millimeter taller than Dipper.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he can just eyeball that, by the way. This is how you know he's a good handyman.
Yep.
Just knows.
I would trust him.
Yeah, I would.
I loved it only makes you taller in Canada.
Only makes you taller in Canada. I
That
love
made
that,
me
like, who
cackle.
even uses meters anyway? It's like the rest of the world, Dipper. It's okay. It's your 12-year-old knowledge. It's fine. You're fine. You're precious. You're perfect. Never change.
And so, of
But
course,
yeah, he's
Dipper MacGyver's a flashlight that can either shrink or enlarge items base, and he uses a prism that he finds in the middle of the woods thanks to his book number 3.
I just love there's tiny deer
Tiny deer!
and a tiny mountain lion
Is that a tiny mountain lion or where's that perspective?
and a giant butterfly.
I like the caterpillar that like landed right on the cars.
Yeah!
It's a real demolition derby moment.
Yeah.
Do we like this episode? How do y'all feel about this episode?
It feels like filler.
It feels a little bit like filler, but there is a lot in it. They do a good job on look back.
Mhm.
There's a lot of meta plot that happens in this episode that if this episode didn't exist, the stuff that happens later wouldn't make sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of like Gideon being a little bit of obsessed with the like, how did you know there was a prism in the woods? Did
Mhm.
you read it somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where Gideon maybe sort of shows his hand a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gideon is trying to get the Mystery Shack for reasons we don't actually know.
Yeah, though he tells Gleeful that there's a secret in there that he can't even begin to imagine. So sure, yeah, like I can see a little bit of the groundwork being
Yeah,
put into place here.
I think you had to have an episode like this before the Summerween episode.
Mm-hmm.
To have them have to weirdly have Mabel and Dipper have like a dumb argument so that when they had a real argument, like they could still reconcile. Does that make sense?
It also
Where it's
that makes sense because it gives you a sense of the stakes.
Yeah.
Because this ultimately being a nothing burger really sort of does highlight what happens in the next episode, which I will not say right now.
I mean, we can because
yeah.
listen, we're going to go on and on about Summerween. So if that's all we have to say about this episode, then that's all we have to say. And, like, I'm okay with that because it's sounding to me like I'm going to gain a deeper appreciation for this episode once I've actually continued watching the show. But for right now,
Once you see the rest, wink, wink.
exactly. Right now, it
All that banjo polish.
simply is. Yeah.
It sure is. All the
I'm sorry you said that, Joy, because I'm never letting it go.
No, don't let it go. Don't let it go. Let it fester. Let it grow wings of its own.
Excellent.
I think my favorite thing about the term banjo polish is that I actually don't understand the reference.
There isn't one.
It's in the very first episode of Gravity Falls, one of the things that McGucket screams is banjo polish.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
That's it. That's the reference. Because I was like, you know what's weird? Banjo polish.
Banjo polish.
And we can just say banjo polish anytime we're talking about spoilers because
There we
banjo
go.
polish. Because it doesn't make any sense.
I didn't catch that particular line.
No, that's fine. I mean, I really only caught it because Mabel was like, did he just say banjo polish?
Oh my gosh, what are the words that she makes Rumble say? I'm sorry, I know we already talked about Rumble, but that was so good.
No, that whole scene is great. This is Mabel understood the assignment. Because like most of us, she saw a thing and was just like, here, say these words. You know, it's like when you first get like access to a Siri or an Alexa and you're just like, tell me a joke.
So
everyone in their right mind would do this.
that's exactly the correct response. Should
Wasn't
we talk
it
about
effervescent?
effervescent?
I think effervescent was one of the words.
Riboflavin was one of the words.
Riboflavin. That one was my favorite. I want you to. I need you both to understand that I had completely forgotten that entire scene until Danielle just said riboflavin, and then it was like, of course. Oh, right, the riboflavin.
I did also like the end of like poop, poop, peep, peep.
Butts.
And I was
poop
like,
and butts.
Butts. Poop and butts, butts and poop. And I was like, lol. Good job, Mabel.
Good job, Mabel.
Good job doing the Lord's work. But yeah, no, I think we can look, this episode wasn't bad. It existed. And I like the hijinks they got into. Mm-hmm. I also just sort of accepted it for what it was. Although I will say, I wonder what's in Gideon's hair that termites chased him away from the cabin.
It's just all fiberglass.
Right?
It's so shiny.
Yeah, like what?
His head is so big because it's full of secrets.
What wood polish did you put in your hair, sir? You small, small, small boy. But yes.
I will end you, old man.
I will end you, old man. I also
enjoy Dipper building the gadget. I think it's a very cool gadget.
It is a very cool gadget. I like Gideon's monstrous laugh, even though he's giggling because it's monstrous because they're small.
I have two questions about that, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
One, what exactly is the power dynamic in the Gleeful household? Because sometimes it feels like Gideon is ruling the roost, and then sometimes it feels like his dad is, and the mom is just like,
just keep
Valium to the gills.
Well, I think we can all accept that the mother is traumatized from something, and it will just never rule that household.
Mm-hmm.
Because she compartmentalizes hard, and it has slowly driven her crazy.
There is that is somewhere between too much Valium and a lobotomy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where it falls.
I think
but that's the scale we're talking.
I think Gideon allows his father to have power in certain situations that he genuinely does not care about.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
You know what I mean? Like, where he's just like, you need to drive me somewhere. And his dad is like, I have to sell these used cars. And he's going to throw a tantrum. But ultimately, he's going to be like, yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like,
but tickle me? That's where you draw the line.
That's where you draw the line.
And I'm a small person and ticklish. And like, there was a point where that stopped being funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hard same. But I'm also just not into people touching me generally. So, you know.
The squick factor was too strong.
Mm-mm. No, thanks.
I mean, I'm also just like, they're too small. Too small. The Honey, I Shrunk the Kids episode is essentially what I call this, because it's like, you know, it's cute, but it like, I mean, ultimately, what is even Honey, I Shrunk the Kids about other than, you know, bringing a family together through hijinks?
Exactly.
And that's what we get here.
That's what we get here.
Yes.
The Mabel talking at the end where she's like, all right, we'll smash it. And they smash it.
Yeah.
And then, hey, dudes.
Yeah. Glue, lots of glue.
Glue, lots of glue.
Lots of glue.
Or, you know, Go into the woods, get another prism. There's a billion of them.
I'm not sure why they didn't do that. That was weird. That was a weird choice to me.
This is the object permanence of shows. This is like the open-ended, but it's right there. It's like when you have the
so
end
episodic that they don't even remember within the same episode.
Yeah. Like when you have like one of those endings of a show and you're like, is that ever going to come back? No. Buffy had a lot of these. Season 1 and season 2 were littered with, oh no, what's going to happen with this praying mantis's eggs that are still in the high school and will probably hatch and they're human sized? Oh, nothing? Cool.
Nothing.
Well, I mean, I think when the school descended into the Hellmouth, I think it kind of destroyed the eggs.
7 years later.
We don't know what that gestation period's like.
They were starting to crack at the end of the episode.
Very slowly. I don't know.
There's so many.
I'm grasping at straws.
No, I understand.
I
understand. This is not a real argument, friends and listeners and friends of listeners. No, it's the my other favorite one, just to talk about Buffy, because I feel like we do this every season. There's at least 3 episodes where we mention Buffy. This is one of them. But my other favorite one is the invisible girl working for the government team of nonsense.
That was what I was going to bring up. I was going to be justice for Clea Duvall.
And I was just like, if only we had incorporated that into the actual Army season, that would have been freaking great. You could have actually closed a loop. You could have closed one. You could have closed one loop.
Just one.
But as it is, you didn't close any of them, and it drives me nuts. Anyway, Gravity Falls. So Summerween. So we only have 20 minutes left to talk about Summerween. It's fine.
Yeah, we can do it.
It's only a 20-minute episode. We're good. We got it.
20-minute episode. It's fine. That's fine.
And we've already sort of talked about it because it's like, Summerween, the one time of year Grunkle Stan loves because he loves to scare little children, right? We got that.
Yeah. Halloween in the summer.
Halloween in the summer.
Instead of the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, you get the jack-o'-melons, which are watermelons.
I love the jack-o'-melons. I want to make a jack-o'-melon.
Aren't they great?
And then, fill it with an adult beverage, but also make a jack-o'-melon.
PG-13 show. It's obvious to our listeners that we're not exactly the soberest of hosts, but we tend to try and say Watre. You fill it up with Watre, Danielle.
Yes, exactly. Maybe like a fruit flavored one. Like, I don't know.
Just fruit flavored Watre.
Think it out loud here. Just think it out loud here.
Derived from potatoes.
So I had never heard of that before until I was at a barbecue several years ago, and my friend had a giant, like, quart-sized Ziploc full of cut-up watermelon.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, that looks lovely. And they offered me some, and I said, thank you. And I took it, and I bit it, and I was like, oh, there's more going on than just watermelon.
Surprise! Surprise! I can't believe they didn't tell you. I would have told you.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. No. It wasn't that they didn't think they thought I knew.
Oh,
fair.
They weren't trying to get me. They just thought that I had caught on to the fact that the cut up watermelon they had
was boozy.
Was boozy inside a Ziploc bag for a reason. Yeah.
Right. Like there was potato product involved.
That's fair.
Potato product.
Potatoes and watermelon.
A surprisingly good combo in that case.
Surprisingly good combo. I love this episode. I love that the Halloween store gets mobbed because it's the middle of summer and you think they're going to have downtime, but they don't. I love the weird Studio Ghibli vibe for this whole episode.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. The monster is very Studio Ghibli.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so well done. Like, I mean, I know we were just gushing about the art before, but like, I just really enjoy how they were able to take that concept and really run with it.
Mm-hmm.
I also love that the villain is just loser candy.
Well, I was going to say, I like the quote twist in this episode in that the legend is wrong. Like,
Yes.
the Summerween trickster is not going after kids who don't have Summerween spirit. It's going after kids who throw away bad candy.
I know. As someone who completely understands what loser candy is, because look, I will hold on to a piece of candy for too long because I just don't want to eat it. And I'm like, one day I'm going to just be like desperate and I'm going to eat that piece of candy. So I guess in that way.
Why are you talking about my habits and the candy I keep in the front closet?
It's like you keep going, and you keep going through the bag of candy, and eventually you're just left with what's a loser candy? Is like a
Yellow Starburst.
Oh, okay. I have Starbursts on my desk at work, and I will say that yellow is one of the last flavors to go, even after
That's so
orange, which I was
interesting.
surprised by.
And it's like, it's not a bad candy. I just,
Favorite loser candies?
Probably anything that requires like a long time to eat.
I
Like
was going to say,
suckers,
like, the first thing that came to
lollipops.
mind for me, weirdly, is a lemon head.
Yeah,
okay.
I
Because
could see that.
just, like, so desperately want it to actually be sour, and it sort of tastes like nothing, but then lasts forever. I'm like, why?
You're not wrong. I mean, it's so interesting because like I enjoy gobstoppers and jawbreakers and lollipops and things like that. But man, do they take forever to eat. So like if I had a bag of candy, I'm not starting with that.
No.
That ends up on the bottom. But then by the time I've eaten all the chocolate and all the like Twizzlers and all the
love
and all the
Twizzlers.
black licorice,
The
every
nerds.
single time. And the nerds, every single time they talked about like a bad candy, I was like, but I eat that. Like I eat saltwater taffy and I eat candy corn and I eat like black licorice. Like,
Yeah.
hey.
I'm not big
I'm
on black
curious what
licorice.
the actual.
Oh, wait, you're curious. I was just going to say, I'm not big on black licorice. I don't know that I would. Wait, you're curious about
I
the
always kind
actual.
of liked it.
What?
I was curious about what the actual like percentage breakdown of people who like black licorice, because I feel like it has a market share disproportionate to the number of people who publicly admit to eating it.
Oh, meaning people like it in secret and don't talk about how they like
Or
it?
something. No, but the ultimate loser candy is circus peanuts.
Yeah.
Why do we have them?
I
Why
don't
do they
think I know
exist?
what
don't
those
get it.
are. I shall Google it.
They're sort of like...
They're like a
Do you
weird, like a
know-
marshmallow.
They're like a
I've
weird
seen
nougat.
these. I've
They're
never
like a weird
consumed,
marshmallow nougat thing.
I've never consumed one of these, but I've seen
They
them
don't
hanging in a
taste
store.
good. The thing is they don't taste very good. And I say that as somebody with a wide variety of tastes in candy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't taste much like anything I would associate with candy
Or peanuts.
or peanuts. It's wrong on both counts. But I think it's like an old, candy that you could get at a circus, if I'm not mistaken. Like I feel like it was one of the few candies, quote unquote, that they would have at a circus. Because usually at a circus, you don't really think candy. You think like other stuff, popcorn and
Peanuts.
and
Cotton
peanuts.
candy is really the thing I associate with circuses. Popcorn, peanuts.
Well,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I mean. Like you don't see a lot of quote unquote candy at a circus because it's
I'm just trying to like mentally take myself back to Madison Square Garden in 1986 when I saw the Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey Circus.
is
and,
it
like,
working?
Weirdly, actually.
Well, see, now you've got me curious.
About the candy?
History of circus peanuts.
Well, according to the Wikipedia page, which I have up, Joy,
Yes.
same brain, they date
Your
to the
brain.
19th century when they were one of a large variety of unwrapped, quote, penny candy sold in such retail outlets as 5 and dime stores.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense because I'm sure it's cheap to make.
Yeah.
That's like OG loser candy.
And oh, they taste like banana. That's why.
Banana? Why?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, why would you do this?
Why would you do this?
But that's what I was trying to tell you. Like, it doesn't taste good. As someone who enjoys the taste of candy, not this candy. I'll eat it if it's there. But man, will I not go out of my way to find it. But yeah, it's, I tried not to take it too personally when they started listing off loser candies. And I was like, hey. But of course, the A plot is, I guess it's the A plot. Is it the B plot? I don't know. I'm not even entirely sure. I don't know which is the A and the B in this episode. I feel like
I think the B plot is Runkelstan.
Okay.
Well, that's like the C plot.
Because the A-B plots are them being chased by the Summerween trickster and Mabel and Dipper's fight, right? Like, is that what you're thinking, Joy?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking that the whole Mabel and Dipper's fight and the Summerween thing are set up from the Dipper thing, so that there's no, it's not, they're not discrete. They're connected.
I hear you.
That's fair.
They're definitely part and parcel.
I think I don't like it because they're so weird. Because it's just like, but Dipper was already going to bounce on Mabel. And so my brain is like, so you're only not bouncing now because there's a monster.
Yes.
And that extra piece makes me think it's just an extra plot. Because I'm just like, you're already going to, like, you're still going to bounce on her. You're still going to bounce. Like, you put on the costume, but you were like, as long as we're done before 9 p.m. And I'm like, so you're going to bounce. You're just going to bounce. Like, but thank God,
so here's the
he
thing that
doesn't
I've been
bounce.
wondering since the first time I ever saw this episode. Why couldn't Dipper just be honest about it to Mabel?
Because they just finished talking about how important it was. And I think he was also...
No, I know. But 9 p.m. is really late.
Right.
In terms of
trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating, right?
Yeah.
So why can't Dipper go trick-or-treating?
And
because he would have been back at the Mystery Shack to change clothes by 8:15.
Because again, Wendy thinks trick-or-treating is stupid. Therefore, Dipper has to be like, oh, right, trick-or-treating is stupid, apparently. I guess I'm not going trick-or-treating, even though it's my favorite holiday, and I really like doing it with my sister, but I guess I won't do that anymore because the girl I like thinks it's dumb. And I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool. This is also where I'm just like, God, Dipper, please get over it. Get rejected. Get something. Get through your thick skull. And I just I also
large Garfield head skull.
Your weirdly large Garfield head. I also have this whole moment where he tries to tell Mabel well, it's not because of Wendy. I wasn't going to go. And I was like a liar. And I had this whole moment where I was like, oh God, this is just how this is going to be now. This is just our lives with Dipper. And I was like, yeah, no, now he thinks all the things she thinks are cool and he's not going to have a personality. And I can't wait for that to stop sucking.
Well, I have terrible news for you about our next episode.
Uh-oh.
No, I know.
Is it? Oh, really? It's more? All right. Okay.
There's only one, but it's the last episode we're going to watch for next episode. So it's sort of going to be the last thing on the palette when we got to get into the Zoom chat.
Okay. I appreciate the warning though, because now I can steel myself for it a little bit.
Yeah, first off, it's a weird one, but also I'm just looking at the episode list, and the whole thing doesn't really get resolved until for another few episodes, which already gets us into the next season.
Okay.
Sorry.
I mean, I would also be remiss if I didn't say that Dipper also doesn't want to hurt Mabel's feelings. So he fakes being sick.
Yeah.
Right? Like he doesn't want to say
her, I'm going to ditch you.
I don't want to do this
or I'm going to ditch you for this friend of mine. Although, Jill, to your point, I don't think that here's the thing, though. Here's I think another piece of it that I was thinking about as you were asking, why not both? I didn't grow up here, and so I've never celebrated Halloween as a child. But from my understanding, part
from the osmosis I have gathered from various forms of media,
part of the ritual is when after the trick-or-treating is done, you dump it all out and you like trade and divvy and then consume like 2/3 of it, right?
No, it's your whole night. It's your whole night.
He couldn't have done that. And that seems like the part of the evening that Mabel would also really enjoy.
He would. So I feel like if he had worked smarter, not harder,
yeah,
he could have had his candy and eaten it too. He could have basically just bargained with Mabel over like some percentage of his take that she could just have. Mm-hmm. If she could like just if she could just be cool.
She could just be cool about it. Just be chill. Be chill,
just
Mabel.
Be cool, man. Just be cool.
But but in what world can Mabel be cool about one single thing?
Right. What world can Mabel be cool about one single thing? But if the payment is half of her brother's Halloween candy or Summerween candy in this case,
that's a steep price.
That's you're getting into probably a fair trade territory in my opinion.
I think he could have done that, but again, like as we saw, as soon as any whisper of him being in costume out trick-or-treating, he dumped the candy unbeknown to himself in the river. But like he shoved the candy into a bush, he stripped off his costume and tried to play it cool. That's what makes me think, oh, you didn't want to have any part of that ever happen to you.
What an extraordinarily dangerous river.
It's the same river as over the garden wall.
It's close to kids just walking around for Halloween. They're living their lives. They could get washed away in a second.
You could walk through bush, fall over a cliff into a river surrounded by trash that then takes you downstream. You know, it's funny, Jill, that you mentioned Over the Garden Wall because this episode made me think of Over the Garden Wall for sure.
It's very.
I actually just had to look up Over the Garden Wall because I couldn't remember chicken or egg. And Over the Garden Wall didn't come out until 2014.
Yeah. No, Over the Garden Wall was after, yeah.
Yeah, so there's similar creative teams. I know that there's crossover in a lot of that. So I'm sure that whatever vibes there are, they were being pulled from the same sources.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's accurate.
Yeah.
Every time I watch Over the Garden Wall, I just keep thinking about Real Monsters, which predates all of them.
What about Over the Garden Wall does that?
What, that invokes Real Monsters?
Yeah.
The cartoon style, mostly.
Really?
Yeah.
I can sort of see that. It's that Klasky Chupo kind of...
Yeah. Like it has a very textile look to it and a very like textured...
Tactile?
Yeah. I think I do literally mean textured. Like I feel like I can feel the pumpkin heads and I can feel the clothes and I can feel the straw and I can, and just people's faces, even though they're somewhat simple. I just stare at that and I'm like, that's 100% Real Monsters. Like they're just not monsters. But like, some of them are. But like the what's the episode where they end up in the tavern where there's like all those different characters?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's just all Real Monsters.
That might be one of my favorite songs in the show.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Like it's so much fun to say. I listen to that soundtrack all year round. It is like there's no like it definitely feels more appropriate in the fall. Mm-hmm. But like I will absolutely just like turn on the Over the Garden Wall soundtrack any time of year.
I mean, it is great. I love that one of the things One of the things people Google is real monsters for kids.
Well, like, is it for kids? Is that the
Yeah.
question? The query?
Yeah. I love the like, so none but the youngest of children should be affected by their antics. I mean, I'm also not going to sit here and be like, it's about monsters. It's about monsters, but not in the same way that, Paranorman is about monsters.
Right. Or
I mean, part of the reason I wanted to watch it was because the Gromble reminded me of the Blue Meanie, but I feel like that's not a thing most normal children are going to come to that with.
I mean, I also wanted to watch it because Tim Curry was one of the voices.
oh,
Yeah.
But
And
he
I was
wasn't
like,
the Gromble, I think, is the thing.
no, he wasn't.
he was the
I was
Zimbo.
I was literally 11 when this came out, and I was excited that Tim Curry was in this.
I love that.
I was very young on that Tim Curry train. I was just like, yeah, Tim Curry, man. Anyway,
no, I'm kidding.
Anyway.
Well, was there more to this episode we wanted to talk about, or should we like switch right to
I
more
also
one more
did write
things?
down. I did write down, why is Old Man McGucket the best? I feel like we got some choice Old Man McGucket in these episodes.
We did. We get a lot of Old Man McGucket. He's pretty great.
Oh, and I also wrote down another store with another monster. Because, like, again, here we are. Oh, and there is one other thing before our one more things, which is I like that all the kids ended up being adventure party people when it was time to actually take down the monster. Like, you had a paladin, you had a fighter. Like, they turned into RPG characters for like 4 seconds, and I was like, see this. I would watch this. I would watch seasons of this. Give me this. Give me Cake or Death. But no, I think we're at one more things. Do y'all know what you want to talk about? I have a couple, but they're short.
I have a silly one, which is that first of all, I love the Summerween episode as a whole. But the Summerween episode has now brought me my absolute favorite credit sequence, which is Waddles as the work memes. I need them all. I need them
Business
printed.
pig.
I need them behind my desk at work. Like, I need Waddles as the work memes is so fantastic.
The best.
Favorite credit sequence.
I can't believe we didn't talk about Waddles as business pig. He's so great.
So remember when I mentioned, I think it was last episode, about the licensed music?
Yeah.
That's one.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
Dolly
it
Parton's
is. 9 to 5. You're right.
I love that.
I was like
Love it.
bopping along, looking at the work memes. That was so good.
Do you
That was
have
my
one more thing, Joe?
Yes. Or I have two. Technically three, actually.
That's fair.
One, on the flyer for the party where it says not SNP approved, that cracked me up. Because if there was one like through line to all of Gravity Falls, it's that fighting with standards and practices to get anything close to the original vision on the screen was just a constant struggle. Also, Chekhov's cackling head.
Yep. I am also, we are all Zeus. I am also that person who would touch all the things. I feel like if I worked in a Halloween store, I would not, but I don't, so I do.
I love like the extra step of it's not even just an impulsive thing because he goes to touch it, it doesn't work, and he's like, batteries.
Yeah. Bullshit. Oh gosh, no! I remember when I was working at Forbidden Planet, 8 million years ago, before dinosaurs walked around the earth. There was a keychain they sold that was Mr. T in your pocket.
Oh no!
And everyone would just go around playing this thing and then quoting it, and sometimes someone would turn on call the PA on the phone system and then just play it into the PA.
Bless.
And it wasn't me doing it.
Yeah. That's just how you know you have the best coworkers, I suppose.
It's true. It's true.
So good.
I've been traumatized. I had fun when I looked up that character. That character is voiced by Grey DeLisle, Azula.
Oh my gosh, really? That's
Wow.
so wild. Wait, what's that character's name again? It's like
what is it? I wrote it down.
Gorny.
His name is Gorny.
Gorny. I'm so glad you brought up Gorny. Yet again, this show, I guess, doesn't kill children. I just want to make that clear. You know, the teenagers in the Haunted Store didn't die, and Gorny didn't die either.
Yep. Safe show.
I've been traumatized. And then also Sue's winning the entire episode with, I ate a man alive tonight.
I ate a man alive tonight. Why? Why is he perfect?
He's so good.
He is.
Why is he perfect?
Oh man. My notes for both Little Dipper and Summerween were, oh good, more body horror.
Oh man. I have a handful.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to loving Rumble, I also liked his nemesis, Dr. Karate.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was pretty great. I also liked these two lines in tandem: bonk him over the head, it's nature's snooze button. And the other one we talked about of why can't you learn to hate each other in secret like girls do. I just liked the two of those in an eternal dance of opposition.
Indeed.
Oh wait, I had another. I'm surprised we didn't talk about this at all, given who is on this current episode of this podcast. We didn't talk about Cheekums at all.
Cheekums is so cute.
Cheekums is the best hamster.
Was he a hamster? I thought it was a guinea pig.
Guinea pig? Either. Honestly, they were so small. I don't know. One or the other.
True.
Hard
to say.
Insert rodent pet here. Cheekums is the best. Especially when Mabel is like, to freedom! And he doesn't move.
Does not move. And when Dipper
she's just
pokes him in the belly.
Just so dumb.
Dipper poking him in the belly absolutely sent me. I was just like, is Dipper about to get totally owned by a guinea pig when he's 2 feet 2 inches tall?
I mean, you know, as someone who never had a rodent pet like that, I can only imagine that if they don't want to be involved, they will just not be.
They will just nope out of there.
Absolutely not. They will just disassociate, stare off into the distance. Nobody's home. I love that little Gideon still put Cheekums in charge like it was going to mean something. I love everything about Cheekums. I love the name. I love how dumb that beautiful, beautiful animal is. I love his fur.
I'm just chilled to the bone at the thought of Lil Gideon being responsible for a pet. Like, that's
you know the
to
father
me.
Actually takes care of Cheekums.
Gosh, I hope so.
You know that's how that is.
I really hope so. It's not even, but also it's not even like the taking care of, because yes, obviously the parent is going to do that. It's all of the other things that I don't know. I'm just envisioning just like Lil Gideon using him as a guinea pig, literally, for like for like any kind of like magic he's, getting out of that book or whatever.
Right.
I mean, you may not be wrong. We did watch a whole series that talked about torturing children, so I don't know why that would be so far-fetched.
Wait, which series was that?
Fringe.
Oh, that's
right. The entire backbone of Fringe is how much they torture kids.
In Florida. F you, Ron DeSantis.
But anyway, yes, I think that's it. I think that covers everything. Jill, where can people find you?
People can find me on Blue Sky, MXLABRADORITE. Yay, I remembered it this time. Mixed Labradorite. Also, just sort of, I'm around.
Yeah, check out the episode description. You should be able to find all of their information down there. And take us away, Danielle.
Yeah, and if you're looking for Bach Pod, you can check us out at Binge O'Clock Pod on Twitter and Facebook, where you can answer the question, what is your favorite Halloween costume? You can also email us at bingeoclockpod@gmail.com. And don't forget, we have a Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/clockpod.
That's right. And tell your friends, tell your loved ones, whoops. Wow. Why is that suddenly hard to say? Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell the live lobsters in your life about Binge O'Clock, and we will see you next time.